Jake Patterson wiped the sweat from his face as he walked slowly toward his small home. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor of the mining station. It had been another long day fixing broken machines and checking power lines. 16 hours of work made his back hurt and his eyes feel heavy. The mining station on planet Kepler 442b was not a fun place to live. Only 200 people worked there, digging for rare metals deep under the ground. The air tasted like metal, and the sky was always gray. Most people who came here wanted to make money fast and leave. Jake had been here for 3 years now. He told himself he would leave soon, but he never did. Jake liked being alone. His small home had one room, a tiny kitchen, and a bathroom. No pictures on the walls, no plants, no pets, just the things he needed to live. Other workers sometimes asked him to join them for drinks or card games, but Jake always said no. It was easier to be alone. As he got closer to his door, Jake saw something strange. There was a small bundle on the ground near his home. It looked like it was wrapped in some kind of cloth, but the cloth was not like anything humans made. It was brown and green and seemed to move slightly in the wind. Next to the bundle was something that made Jake stop walking. It was alive, but it was not human. The creature was about the size of a child, but it had hard skin that looked like the shell of a bug. Its body was thin, too thin, like it had not eaten in a long time. Large eyes covered most of its head, and they were looking right at Jake. Jake felt his heart beat faster. He had heard stories about aliens, but he had never seen one. The creature was lying on its side, breathing hard. Its skin was very pale, almost white like the moon. Jake could see that it was hurt and very weak. The creature moved one of its arms toward the bundle. Jake realized that the bundle must be important. He took a step closer and saw that the bundle was moving. Something small was inside it. Jake looked around to see if anyone else was watching. The mining station was quiet. Most people were inside eating dinner or sleeping. The nearest home was 50 feet away. No one could see what was happening. The creature made a sound. It was soft and sad, like crying. Jake had never heard anything like it before. The creature pushed the bundle closer to Jake's door with its weak arm. Then it looked up at Jake with its big eyes. Jake knew he should call security. That was what the rules said to do if anyone found aliens. The security team would come and take the creature away. They would ask Jake many questions. They would want to know why he did not call them right away. But Jake did not move toward his communication device. The creature was clearly dying. Its breathing was getting slower and weaker. Jake could see that it was trying to tell him something with its eyes. It kept looking at the bundle, then at Jake, then at the bundle again. Jake bent down slowly. He did not want to scare the creature. As he got closer, he could hear small sounds coming from the bundle. Tiny chirping noises like a baby bird. The creature spoke. Its voice was very quiet and rough, but Jake could understand the words. It was speaking in Universal Standard, the language that most space travelers learned. "Please," the creature whispered. "Please." Jake felt something change inside him. This was not just an alien. This was a mother who was dying and trying to save her baby. Jake had seen that look before, in the eyes of animals protecting their young. It was the same. Look, even though this creature was from another world, Jake made his choice without thinking about it. He reached down and carefully picked up the bundle. It was warm and very light. The small creature inside made soft chirping sounds when Jake touched it. It was alive and seemed healthy, just very small. Then Jake looked at the mother. She was watching him with hope in her big eyes. Jake could not leave her outside to die. He bent down again and very carefully lifted her up. She weighed almost nothing. Her body felt fragile, like it might break if he held her too tight. Jake carried both creatures to his door. He looked around one more time to make sure no one was watching. Then he went inside and closed the door behind him. Jake's small home suddenly felt very different. He put the mother on his bed and the baby on a soft chair. The mother's eyes were closed now, but she was still breathing. The baby kept making its chirping sounds. Jake did not know what to do next. He had never taken care of sick people before, and he certainly had never taken care of aliens. But he could not just watch them die. He went to his small kitchen and got some water. The mother needed to drink something. Jake helped her sit up a little and put the water cup to her mouth. She drank slowly, just a few drops. It seemed to help her feel a little better. The baby was harder to figure out. Jake unwrapped the bundle carefully. Inside was a creature that looked like a tiny version of its mother. It had the same hard skin and big eyes, but its skin was softer and more see-through. Jake could see small wings on its back, but they looked too weak to use for flying. The baby reached out with its small arms toward Jake. When Jake put his finger near the baby, it grabbed on with surprising strength. The baby stopped chirping and seemed calmer. Jake sat down and tried to think. He was breaking many rules by keeping these creatures in his home. If security found them, Jake would be in serious trouble. He might even go to jail. But he could not bring himself to call for help. The mother opened her eyes and looked at Jake. She seemed a little stronger after drinking the water. She pointed to herself and said something in her own language. Then she said, "Luna." Jake thought, that might be her name. Jake pointed to himself and said, "Jake." Luna repeated his name quietly. Her voice sounded different when she said it, but Jake could tell she was trying to learn. Luna pointed to her baby and made more sounds in her language. The baby chirped back at her. Jake realized they were talking to each other. Luna looked at Jake and said, "Baby, my baby." Jake nodded. He understood. Luna was telling him that this was her child, her baby. She wanted him to know how important the small creature was to her. As the night went on, Jake learned more about his unexpected guests. Luna was very weak, but she tried to take care of her baby. The baby seemed to like Jake and often reached for him when Luna was resting. Jake made a bed on the floor for himself so Luna and the baby could use his bed. He found some soft clothes to keep the baby warm. He gave Luna more water and found some simple food that she could eat. By morning, Jake knew his life had changed completely. He was no longer just a lonely man working on a mining station. He was now taking care of 2 alien creatures who needed his help to survive. Jake had no idea what would happen next. He did not know if he could keep Luna and her baby safe. He did not know if they would get better or get worse. All he knew was that he had made a choice to help them, and he was not going to give up on them now. As he got ready for another day of work, Jake looked at Luna and her baby sleeping peacefully on his bed. For the first time in years, his small home did not feel empty. It felt like a place where someone cared about someone else. It felt like a home where love existed, even between creatures from different worlds. Jake woke up before his alarm went off. His back hurt from sleeping on the hard floor, but that was not what woke him. It was the sound of Luna coughing and her baby making worried chirping noises. Jake got up quickly and went to check on them. Luna was awake, but she looked worse than the night before. Her pale skin had dark spots on it now, and she was breathing very fast. The baby was trying to snuggle close to its mother, but Luna was too weak to hold it properly. Jake felt scared. He did not know how to help them. He had no medical training and no medicine for aliens, but he had to try something. Jake went to his computer and searched for information about alien biology. Most of the files were locked because they contained military secrets. But Jake was good with computers from his engineering work. He found ways to get into some databases that were not well protected. What he learned worried him more. Luna and her baby were from a species called Zephyrians. They needed high humidity to breathe properly. They also needed special minerals that were not found in human food. Without these things, they would die slowly. Jake looked around his small home. The air was very dry because the mining station recycled air to save money. He needed to make the air more humid, but he did not have the right equipment. Jake went to the supply room at work early, before his shift started. He told the supply manager that he needed parts to fix his air system at home. This was not completely a lie, but it was not the whole truth either. Jake took a small humidifier, some plastic tubing, and a water recycling unit. Back at home, Jake worked quickly to set up the humidity system. He connected the humidifier to his water supply and put the tubing around his bed where Luna and the baby were resting. Soon the air around them became more moist. Luna seemed to breathe a little easier, but she was still very weak. Jake knew she needed the special minerals. He remembered reading that Zephyrians got these minerals from certain types of soil. That night, after his work shift, Jake went outside the mining station. This was dangerous because the air outside was thin and cold. People were not supposed to go out alone. But Jake had to find the right soil. He walked for almost an hour in the dark, carrying a small shovel and some bags. The planet's soil was mostly red and rocky, but in some places Jake found darker soil that smelled different. He collected samples from different areas and brought them back to his home. Jake mixed small amounts of the soil with water to make a thin soup. He was not sure if this would work, but it was the best he could do. He helped Luna drink the mixture. She made a face because it tasted bad, but she drank it. The baby was harder to feed. Jake learned that young Zephyrians drank a special milk that their mothers made. But Luna was too sick to make milk for her baby. Jake tried giving the baby small drops of the soil mixture, but it was not enough. Jake spent hours online looking for more information. He found illegal websites where people sold alien goods. One site had information about Zephyrian baby food. It was made from ground-up plants and minerals mixed with a special oil. Jake could not buy the real food because it would leave a record that security might find. Instead, he had to make his own version. He found some of the plants growing wild, outside the station. He mixed them with the soil minerals and some cooking oil from his kitchen. The mixture looked terrible, but when Jake offered it to the baby, the small creature ate it hungrily. Jake felt happy for the first time in days. At least the baby was getting some nutrition. Days passed this way. Jake would work his regular job during the day, then take care of Luna and the baby at night. He made trips outside to collect more soil and plants. He improved his humidity system to work better. He learned to make better food for the baby. Luna slowly started to get stronger. She could sit up for longer periods and she could eat more food. She began to speak more words in Universal Standard. She would point to things and ask Jake what they were called in human language. The baby, which Jake started calling Pip because of its chirping sounds, grew more active. Pip would crawl around Jake's bed and explore everything with its small hands. When Jake came home from work, Pip would make excited chirping sounds and reach for him. Jake found himself becoming very attached to both of them. Luna was gentle and grateful for everything Jake did. She would try to help with small tasks even when she was tired. Pip was curious and playful, always getting into things and making Jake laugh. But Jake knew they could not stay hidden forever. His friend Danny Garcia was starting to ask questions. Danny worked in the same department as Jake. They had been friends for 2 years, but they were not very close. Danny was friendly and liked to talk to everyone. He noticed that Jake was acting different. "You look tired all the time now," Danny said one day during lunch. "Are you sleeping okay?" Jake tried to act normal. "I am fine, just working on some projects at home." "What kind of projects?" Danny asked. "Maybe I can help." Jake did not want to lie to Danny, but he could not tell the truth either. "Just fixing things around my place. You know how it is." Danny looked at Jake carefully. "You are buying a lot of extra supplies lately, and you keep going outside alone at night. That is dangerous, Jake. What is really going on?" Jake felt nervous. If Danny kept asking questions, other people might notice too. "I told you, I am just working on things. It is not a big deal, but it was a big deal." Jake's behavior was changing in ways that people could see. He was tired from staying up late taking care of Luna and Pip. He was nervous about keeping his secret. He was spending money on supplies that he normally would not need. Even worse, the colony's security chief, Commander Lisa Hayes, was starting to notice unusual things. She had reports of someone going outside at night without permission. She had questions about missing supplies from the storage rooms. Commander Hayes was a strict woman who followed all the rules. She did not like mysteries or problems in her colony. She started keeping track of everyone's activities more carefully. Jake knew he was in trouble when Commander Hayes stopped him after work one day. Jake, I need to ask you some questions, she said. We have had some irregular activities lately. Missing supplies, unauthorized trips outside. Do you know anything about this? Jake tried to stay calm. No, I do not know anything about missing supplies. Commander Hayes looked at him for a long time. Your supply requisitions have increased by 40% in the past 2 weeks. Can you explain why? Jake had prepared for this question. My air recycling system is having problems. I have been trying to fix it myself instead of calling for maintenance. Why not call for maintenance? That is what we are here for. I like to fix things myself. You know that. Commander Hayes nodded, but Jake could tell she was not satisfied with his answer. I am going to need to inspect your quarters tomorrow. Just routine maintenance check. Jake felt his stomach drop. If Commander Hayes came to his home, she would find Luna and Pip. The inspection would reveal everything. When tomorrow? Jake asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Morning shift. Around 1000 hours. Jake had less than 18 hours to figure out what to do. He could not hide Luna and Pip anywhere else in the colony. There was nowhere to go. He could not take them outside because they were still too weak to survive in the harsh environment. That night, Jake sat with Luna and Pip and tried to think of a solution. Luna could tell that something was wrong. She had learned enough universal. Standard to have simple conversations problem? Luna asked, pointing to Jake's worried face. Jake nodded. Big problem. Tomorrow people come here, they find you, they take you away. Luna's big eyes became very wide. She pulled Pip closer to her. What do we do? Jake looked at Luna holding her baby. He had spent weeks taking care of them. He had watched Pip grow stronger and more playful. He had seen Luna recover from near death. They were not just aliens to him anymore. They were family. I do not know yet, Jake said. But I will not let them take you away, I promise. Jake stayed up all night trying to think of a plan. He could try to hide them in the mining tunnels, but those were dangerous and cold. He could try to get them off the planet, but he had no ship and no money to buy passage. As morning came closer, Jake realized he might have to make a very difficult choice. He might have to choose between his own safety and the safety of Luna and Pip. But when he looked at them sleeping peacefully on his bed, he knew what choice he would make. Jake had never thought of himself as a brave person, but sometimes love makes people braver than they ever thought they could be. Jake had only 3 hours before Commander Hayes would come to inspect his home. He sat on the floor next to his bed where Luna and Pip were still sleeping. His mind was racing as he tried to think of what to do. Luna woke up and saw Jake's worried face. She had gotten much stronger over the past weeks. She could now sit up easily and speak many words in universal standard. She could also sense when Jake was upset. Jake's sad, Luna said quietly. What happened? Jake did not want to scare her, but she needed to know the truth. Commander Hayes is coming here in 3 hours. She will search my home. If she finds you, and Pip, she will take you away. Luna's pale skin became even paler. She pulled Pip closer to her chest. The baby was still sleeping, making soft chirping sounds. Where we go? Luna asked. Jake shook his head. I do not know. There is nowhere safe to hide on this station. Luna was quiet for a long time. She looked around Jake's small home, then back at Jake. I tell you something important. You must know truth about my people. Jake moved closer to listen. Luna had never talked much about where she came from or what had happened to her before she found Jake's door. Luna took a deep breath and began to speak. Her universal standard was getting better every day, but she still had to think carefully about the words. My people, Zephyrians, we live on planet called Zephyr, beautiful world with big trees and clean water. We have many families, many children. We peaceful people. We not fight wars. We help each other always. Jake nodded, encouraging her to continue. 3 months ago, human ships come to our world. They say they want to trade with us. We happy to meet humans. We think humans good people, like us. Luna's voice became sad. But humans not come to trade. They come to take our world. They say we dangerous. They say we want to hurt humans. This not true, but they say it anyway. Jake felt a cold feeling in his stomach. What did the humans do? They attack our cities. They use big weapons that burn everything. They kill many Zephyrians. They say we started war, but we never fight back. We only try to run away. Luna's big eyes filled with tears. My mate, he tried to protect our home. Human soldiers kill him. They kill my parents. They kill my brothers and sisters. I take Pip and run to escape ship. Jake listened in shock. Luna continued her story. I fly in. Damaged ship for many days. Ship barely work. I very sick, very hungry. I know I dying. I find this planet and crash ship in forest. I walk for days looking for help. Why did you come to me? Jake asked. Luna touched her head with one finger. My people have gift. We can feel emotions of other creatures. When I come to this place, I feel anger from most humans, but from you, I feel kindness. I feel loneliness too, but good heart. I know you might help. Jake was quiet for a long time, thinking about what Luna had told him. If her story was true, then humans had attacked her people for no reason. They had lied about who started the war. Luna, are you sure about what happened? Maybe there was a misunderstanding. Luna shook her head firmly. No misunderstanding. I see everything with my own eyes. Humans want our planet because it has valuable crystals in ground. Much easier to kill us than trade with us. Jake felt sick. He had heard news reports about the war with the Zephyrians. The report said that aliens had attacked human colonies and humans had to defend themselves. But Luna's story was completely different. Jake went to his computer and started searching for more information about the war. Most of the news reports said the same thing. Aliens attacked first, humans fought back in self-defense. But Jake knew how to look deeper into computer systems. He found classified military communications that regular people were not supposed to see. As he read through the files, Jake's heart sank. Luna was telling the truth. The military files showed that humans had planned to take the Zephyrian planet for months before the attack. They called it Operation Clear Sky. The plan was to eliminate the Zephyrian population and claim their world for human mining operations. Jake found orders from human commanders telling soldiers to remove all alien resistance and secure mining rights to crystal deposits. There were no mentions of Zephyrians attacking humans first. The whole war was based on lies. Even worse, Jake found similar operations planned for other alien worlds. Humans were systematically attacking peaceful alien species across the galaxy, then lying about it to their own people. Jake felt ashamed of being human. His own species was committing genocide, and most humans did not even know it was happening. Luna, Jake said quietly, I am so sorry. I had no idea this was happening. Luna looked at Jake with understanding in her eyes. You not responsible for what other humans do. You save me and Pip, you good human. Jake appreciated Luna's kindness, but he still felt terrible about what his species had done to hers. Pip woke up and started chirping for attention. Luna picked up her baby and held him close. Pip had grown a lot in the past weeks. His wings were getting stronger, and his eyes were more alert. He recognized Jake and made happy chirping sounds when he saw him. I have to protect you both, Jake said, but I do not know how. Luna was quiet for a moment, then she spoke carefully. Maybe we tell truth to other humans. Show them what really happened. Some humans good like you. Maybe they help. Jake thought about this idea. It was very risky. If he revealed the truth about the war, he would be in serious trouble with the military. They might accuse him of being a traitor. But maybe Luna was right. Maybe some humans would care about the truth. Before Jake could decide what to do, there was a knock on his door. Jake's heart started beating very fast. Commander Hayes was early. Jake Patterson. This is Commander Hayes. Open the door for inspection. Jake looked at Luna and Pip. There was no time to hide them and no place to put them. Coming, Jake called out. He whispered to Luna, stay quiet. Let me handle this. Jake opened the door. Commander Hayes stepped inside with 2 security guards. She was a tall woman with short gray hair and cold eyes. She looked around Jake's home carefully. "This is just a routine inspection," she said. "We need to check all living quarters for safety violations." Commander Hayes walked around Jake's small home, checking everything. She looked at his kitchen, his bathroom, his work area. Jake tried to stay calm, but his hands were shaking. Then Commander Hayes looked toward the bed. Jake's heart stopped. Luna and Pip were lying very still under the blankets, but their unusual shapes were clearly visible. "What is that on your bed?" Commander Hayes asked. Jake's mind went blank. He could not think of any explanation that would make sense. Commander Hayes walked closer to the bed. She reached out to pull back the blankets. "Stop," Jake said suddenly. "Do not touch them." Commander Hayes turned to look at Jake. "Touch what? What are you hiding?" Jake realized he was out of options. He had to make a choice right now. He could try to lie and probably fail, or he could tell the truth and face the consequences. Jake took a deep breath. "Commander, I need to show you something very important. But first, I need you to promise that you will listen to the whole story before you make any decisions." Commander Hayes looked suspicious. "I do not make promises to people who are obviously hiding something illegal." "Please," Jake said. "This is bigger than just me breaking rules. This is about something that affects all of humanity." Commander Hayes stared at Jake for a long moment. Then she nodded to her guards. "Secure the room. No one leaves until I understand what is happening here." Jake walked over to his bed and gently pulled back the blankets. Commander Hayes and her guards gasped when they saw Luna and Pip. "These are Zephyrians," Jake said. "But they are not enemies, they are refugees. And I have proof that everything we have been told about the war is a lie." Commander Hayes drew her weapon. "Step away from the aliens immediately." "Wait," Jake said. "Let me show you the evidence. Let me prove that we are the ones who started this war, not them." Jake moved toward his computer, but one of the guards blocked his way. "I said step away," Commander Hayes repeated. Luna slowly sat up on the bed, still holding Pip. She looked at Commander Hayes with her large, gentle eyes. "Please," Luna said in her careful, universal standard. "No hurt, baby. I tell you truth about what happened to my people." Commander Hayes kept her weapon pointed at Luna, but Jake could see uncertainty in her eyes. Luna did not look like a dangerous enemy. She looked like exactly what she was, a mother protecting her child. "Commander," Jake said urgently, "give me 5 minutes to show you the military files I found. 5 minutes to prove that everything we have been told is wrong. If I cannot convince you, then do whatever you think is right." Commander Hayes looked at Jake, then at Luna and Pip, then back at Jake. Jake could see her struggling with what to do. Finally, she lowered her weapon slightly. 5 minutes, she said. "But if you try anything suspicious, I will not hesitate to eliminate the threat." Jake nodded and moved to his computer. He pulled up the classified files he had found. As Commander Hayes read the documents, her face became more and more troubled. After several long minutes, she looked up at Jake. "Where did you get these files?" "I accessed them through the military database. I know it was illegal, but I had to know the truth." Commander Hayes was quiet for a long time. She looked at the files, then at Luna and Pip, then back at the files. "If these documents are real," she said slowly, "then we have a serious problem." Commander Hayes stared at the computer screen for what felt like hours. Jake could see her face changing as she read through more of the classified documents. Her expression went from anger to confusion to something that looked like horror. "These orders," she said quietly. "These are signed by Admiral Morrison himself. He directly ordered the attack on civilian settlements." Jake nodded. "And look at this communication from General Wells. He calls the Zephyrians insects to be exterminated." "These are our own military leaders talking about genocide." One of the security guards stepped forward. "Commander, should we arrest Patterson now? He has clearly been harboring enemy aliens." Commander Hayes looked at Luna, who was still sitting on the bed holding Pip. The baby Zephyrian was looking around, with curious eyes making soft, chirping sounds. Luna was watching the humans carefully, but she did not look afraid. She looked sad. "They do not look like enemies," Commander Hayes said slowly. Ma'am, regulations are clear, the second guard said. Any unauthorized aliens must be detained immediately. Commander Hayes turned to Jake. How long have they been here? 3 weeks, Jake answered honestly. Luna was dying when I found her. Pip was just a baby. I could not let them die. You could have called medical. We have procedures for alien contact. Jake shook his head. What procedures? Show me one case where aliens were treated with respect instead of being locked up or experimented on. Commander Hayes could not answer that question. Everyone knew that alien contact usually meant imprisonment for the aliens. Luna spoke up in her careful universal standard. Commander Hayes, I ask permission to speak. Commander Hayes looked surprised. You know my name? I learned many things while staying here. Jake teach me about humans. Some humans good, some humans bad. You seem like good human. How can you tell? Commander Hayes asked. Luna touched her head with one finger. My people feel emotions. You confused and upset, but not mean. You want to do right thing, but not sure what right thing is. Commander Hayes stared at Luna for a long moment. Tell me what happened to your people. Luna began to tell her story again, but this time she included more details. She talked about her homeworld, about her family, about the day the human ships arrived. She described watching her mate die trying to protect their home. She explained how she escaped with Pip in a damaged ship. As Luna spoke, Jake watched Commander Hayes's face. He could see that Luna's story was affecting her. The commander had probably believed the official reports about the war. Learning the truth was clearly difficult for her. Even if what you say is true, Commander Hayes said when Luna finished, I still have orders to follow. Any aliens found on this station must be reported to military command. What will happen to them? Jake asked. Commander Hayes was quiet for a moment. They will be taken to a research facility for questioning and study. You mean they will be tortured? Jake said angrily. That is not how military intelligence works, Commander Hayes replied, but her voice did not sound confident. We both know what really happens in those facilities, Jake said. Luna and Pip will disappear and no one will ever hear from them again. Before Commander Hayes could respond, there was another knock on Jake's door. Everyone froze. Jake, are you in there? It was Danny Garcia's voice. You missed the morning shift meeting. I wanted to make sure you were okay. Jake looked at Commander Hayes. That is my friend Danny. He does not know about Luna and Pip. Tell him to go away, Commander Hayes said quietly. Jake went to the door. Danny, I am fine. Just feeling sick today. Can I come in? I brought you some food from the cafeteria. Jake looked back at Commander Hayes, who shook her head. Thanks, but I am really not feeling well. Maybe later. There was a pause. Then Danny said, Jake, there are security guards outside your door. What is going on? Commander Hayes cursed under her breath. She had forgotten that her guards were stationed outside where people could see them. Danny, please just go, Jake said through the door. Not until you tell me what is happening. Are you in trouble? Commander Hayes walked to the door. Mr. Garcia, this is Commander Hayes. Mr. Patterson is assisting with a security investigation. Please return to your duties. What kind of investigation? Danny asked. His voice sounded worried. That is classified, Commander Hayes said. There was another pause. Then Jake heard Danny's footsteps walking away, but something about the way Danny left made Jake think his friend was not giving up. Commander Hayes turned back to the room. We need to resolve this situation quickly. Other people are starting to notice. Jake felt desperate. Commander, please, just give me a chance to prove that Luna and Pip are not dangerous. Let me show you what Pip can do. What do you mean? Jake looked at Luna. Show her Pip's special ability. Luna understood. She whispered something to Pip in the Zephyrian language. The baby made excited chirping sounds and crawled toward Jake's computer. What is he doing? Commander Hayes asked. Watch, Jake said. Pip placed his small hands on the computer keyboard. Suddenly, the screen lit up with activity. Data flowed across the display faster than any human could type. Pip was accessing the computer systems directly through some kind of bioelectric connection. In seconds, Pip had opened files that were supposed to be locked. He found hidden directories and encrypted communications. The computer was responding to him like it was part of his own body. Commander Hayes stared in amazement. How is he doing that? Zephyrians can interface directly with electronic systems, Jake explained. Imagine what we could learn from them if we worked together instead of trying to destroy them. Pip finished his demonstration and crawled back to Luna, chirping happily. Luna picked him up and held him close. That ability could revolutionize our technology, Commander Hayes said quietly. Or it could be stolen and used as a weapon, Jake said. Which do you think the military would choose? Commander Hayes was quiet for a long time. Jake could see her struggling with a difficult decision. She was a military officer who followed orders, but she was also a human being with a conscience. Finally, she spoke. I have to report this. I do not have a choice. Jake felt his heart sink. Commander, please, but, she continued, I can decide how I report it, and I can decide when I report it. Jake looked at her hopefully. What does that mean? It means you have 24 hours to figure out what you want to do. After that, I will have to follow official procedures. What are you suggesting? Commander Hayes looked around the room. I am suggesting that you might want to consider taking a short vacation, maybe visit another part of the station, maybe get completely lost for a while. Jake understood. Commander Ew, Hayes was giving them a chance to escape. Where could we go? Jake asked. This is a mining station in the middle of nowhere. There are supply ships that come and go, Commander Hayes said carefully. Sometimes people get confused about passenger manifests. Sometimes people accidentally get on the wrong ship. Jake felt a spark of hope. Would you help us? I cannot help you directly, but I might be very busy for the next day. I might not notice if some things happened that I was not supposed to see. At that moment, the door burst open. Danny Garcia rushed in, followed by several other colonists. Jake, I knew something was wrong, Danny said. Then he saw Luna and Pip and stopped talking. His mouth fell open. Oh no, Commander Hayes said. The other colonists crowded into the small room. There was Helen Brooks, the colony administrator. There was Dr. Martinez from the medical bay. There was Chief Engineer Roberts and several workers from Jake's department. Everyone stared at Luna and Pip in shocked silence. Helen Brooks was the first to speak. Those are aliens. Yes, Jake said simply. There was no point in lying now. Are they dangerous? Dr. Martinez asked. Luna answered for herself. We not dangerous, we peaceful people. We only want to live and take care of baby. The colonists looked surprised to hear Luna speak. Danny stepped forward slowly. Jake, how long have you been hiding them? 3 weeks, Jake answered. Why did you not tell anyone? Jake looked at all the faces around him. These were people he had worked with for years. Some of them he considered friends. He decided to tell them the truth. Because our government lied to us about the war, Jake said. We attacked their people. First, Luna and her baby are refugees from genocide that we committed. That is impossible, Chief Engineer Roberts said. The aliens attacked our colonies. Jake turned his computer screen so everyone could see it. Look at these military communications. Read the orders. See for yourself what really happened. The colonists gathered around the computer. As they read through the documents, Jake watched their faces change. Some looked angry. Some looked sick. Some looked confused. Helen Brooks spoke first. If these documents are real, then our entire government has been lying to us. They are real, Commander Hayes said quietly. I have seen the military codes. These orders came directly from the highest levels of command. Dr. Martinez looked at Luna and Pip. They really are just refugees. Luna nodded. My people all dead. Just me and baby left. Jake saved our lives. The room was quiet for a long time. Jake could see that everyone was trying to process what they had learned. Their whole understanding of the war had just been turned upside down. Finally, Danny spoke. What do we do now? Commander Hayes looked around the room at all the faces. That depends on what kind of people you all want to be. The room stayed quiet for several long minutes. Everyone was looking at Luna and Pip, then at the computer screen with the military documents, then at each other. Jake could feel the tension in the air like electricity before a storm. Helen Brooks, the colony administrator, was the first to break the silence. "We have a serious problem here. If we help these aliens, we could all be charged with treason. But if we turn them in, we become part of the genocide," Dr. Martinez said. "I became a doctor to save lives, not to help destroy innocent people." Chief Engineer Roberts shook his head. "This is bigger than just us. If we go against military orders, they will shut down this entire colony. Everyone here will lose their jobs." Danny looked at Jake. "How did you keep this secret for 3 weeks?" "It was not easy," Jake said. "Every day I worried that someone would find out, but I could not watch them die." Luna spoke up from the bed where she was still holding Pip. "I'm sorry to cause trouble for Jake's friends. Maybe better if I surrender to authorities. Protect Jake and all of you." "No," Jake said quickly. "I will not let them take you." "Jake, right?" Dr. Martinez said. "If the military takes them, we will never see them again. They will disappear into some laboratory." Commander Hayes had been listening to everything without speaking. Finally, she stepped forward. "I need to tell you all something important. I received new orders this morning." Everyone turned to look at her. Jake felt his stomach drop. "Command wants me to conduct a full biometric scan of the entire colony today. They are looking for alien life signs. They must suspect something." "How much time do we have?" Helen asked. "The scan equipment arrives in 2 hours." Jake felt panic rising in his chest. 2 hours? That is not enough time to get Luna and Pip off the station. "Actually," Helen said slowly, "maybe it is enough time for something else." "What do you mean?" Commander Hayes asked. Helen looked around the room at all the faces. "How many people work on this colony?" 212, Chief Engineer. Roberts answered. "And how many of them do you think would support genocide if they knew the truth?" Danny understood what Helen was thinking. "You want to tell everyone?" "Not just tell them," Helen said. "Show them. Let them see Luna and Pip with their own eyes. Let them read the military documents. Let them decide for themselves what kind of people they want to be." Commander Hayes looked alarmed. "That would be mutiny. Military command would send soldiers to take control of the colony." "Maybe," Helen said. "Or maybe other colonies would join us when they learn the truth. Maybe people back on Earth would demand answers when they find out what their government has been doing." Jake looked at Luna. "What do you think?" Luna was quiet for a moment, thinking carefully. "On my world, when we had difficult decisions, we asked everyone in community to help choose. Maybe human community here can choose too." Pip chirped softly in Luna's arms. He had been very quiet during all the talking, but now he reached toward Jake. Jake took the baby and held him close. Pip had grown so much in the past weeks. His eyes were brighter, and his movements were stronger. "If we do this," Commander Hayes said, "there is no going back. Once we reveal the truth to everyone, we are committed to protecting Luna and Pip no matter what happens." "I am already committed to that," Jake said. One by one, the others nodded their agreement. Even Chief Engineer Roberts, who had been worried about losing jobs, finally said, "Some things are more important than jobs." Helen looked at her watch. "We have 1 hour and 45 minutes. How do we reach everyone?" "Emergency assembly," Commander Hayes said. "I can call all colonists to the main hall for a mandatory briefing." "What will you tell them the briefing is about?" Danny asked. "Colony security updates. Everyone will come." Jake felt nervous and excited at the same time. "Are we really going to do this?" "We are going to do this," Helen said firmly. The next hour was the busiest of Jake's life. While Commander Hayes prepared for the assembly, Jake and Danny worked on copying all the military documents to portable drives. Dr. Martinez examined Luna and Pip to make sure they were strong enough for what was coming. Helen wrote notes about what she wanted to say to the colonists. Luna helped by teaching Pip some simple words in Universal Standard. She wanted people to hear her baby talk so they would understand that Zephyrians were intelligent beings, not animals. When it was time, Jake carefully carried Pip while Luna walked beside him. She was still weak, but she was determined to face the colonists herself. They made their way to the main assembly hall. The hall was full of people talking and wondering why they had been called to an emergency meeting. When Jake walked in carrying Pip with Luna beside him, the talking stopped immediately. People stared in shock. Some stood up from their seats. A few people moved toward the exits, but Commander Hayes had posted guards there to make sure everyone stayed to hear the whole story. Helen Brooks walked to the front of the hall. "Everyone, please remain calm and take your seats. We have something very important to share with you." "Those are aliens!" someone shouted from the back of the hall. "Yes, they are," Helen said. "Their names are Luna and Pip. They are Zephyrians, and they are refugees." "Refugees from what?" another person called out. Helen looked around the hall. "Refugees from us." Helen began to explain everything. She told the story of how Jake found Luna and Pip. She explained what Jake had learned about Zephyrian culture. Then she showed the military documents on the big screen. As people read the orders and communications, Jake watched their faces change. He saw anger, confusion, sadness, and shame. Some people started crying when they realized what their government had done. Dr. Martinez stood up and spoke about Luna's injuries and how Jake had nursed her back to health. Danny talked about seeing Pip's amazing abilities with technology and how intelligent both aliens were. Then Luna herself stood up to speak. The hall became completely quiet. "My people lived in peace," Luna said in her careful universal standard. "We never hurt anyone. We welcomed humans to our world as friends. But humans came with weapons, not friendship." Luna's voice was strong despite her sadness. "They killed my family. They killed my friends. They destroyed our cities. I escaped with my baby because one human soldier looked away when he could have killed us." She looked around the hall at all the human faces. "Not all humans are bad. Jake proves this. You all here listening to truth proves this. My people believe that good always stronger than evil if given chance." When Luna finished speaking, the hall was silent for a long time. Then an older woman near the front stood up. "I have grandchildren back on Earth," she said. "If someone did to them what we did to your people, I would want the universe to know the truth." A man in work clothes stood up next. "I joined this colony to build something good. I did not come here to be part of murder." More people started standing. One by one, they spoke about their choice to protect Luna and Pip and to demand justice for the Zephyrian people. Not everyone agreed. About 30 people wanted to follow military orders and turn Luna and Pip over to authorities. But they were heavily outnumbered by those who chose to do what was right. Commander Hayes stood up last. "As military commander of this colony, I have a duty to report what has happened here. But as a human being, I have a greater duty to protect innocent life." She looked directly at Luna and Pip. "I officially grant you sanctuary on this colony under emergency humanitarian protocols." The hall erupted in cheers and applause. Jake felt tears running down his face as he held Pip close. Luna was crying too, but her tears were happy ones. Over. The next several days, news of what happened on Kepler 442b spread across human space. Some other colonies declared their support for Luna and Pip. Scientists and peace activists demanded investigations into the military's actions. The military did send ships to retake the colony, but they found something unexpected. Luna had used her people's technology to send detailed broadcasts across the galaxy, sharing the truth about the genocide with every world that could receive the signals. Public opinion on Earth shifted quickly when people learned the real story of the war. Massive protests demanded justice for the Zephyrian people and accountability for the military leaders who had ordered the genocide. Admiral Morrison and General Wells were arrested and charged with war crimes. The military's secret alien extermination program was shut down. New laws were passed requiring transparency in all alien contact situations. Luna became the first official Zephyrian ambassador to human space. She worked with human leaders to establish peaceful relationships between the species. Pip grew up learning both human and Zephyrian cultures, becoming a bridge between the two worlds. Jake was offered many important jobs, but he chose to stay on Kepler 442b. The colony became a center for human-Zephyrian cooperation, where both species worked together on scientific research and cultural exchange. Years later, when Pip was fully grown, he often talked about the day a lonely human engineer chose kindness over fear. That choice had saved 2 lives, but more importantly, it had saved the soul of humanity itself. Jake learned that sometimes the most important moments in history begin with the simplest acts of compassion. He had thought he was just helping a dying mother and her baby. Instead, he had helped his entire species remember what it meant to be truly human.